What happens when a British royal meets one of America's most unapologetic truth-tellers live on air? Asterisk, what happens when the carefully curated narrative of nobility collides with blunt, unfiltered questions that cut past the PR spin? Asterisk, tonight, we're unpacking one of the most intense late-night confrontations in modern TV history. Prince Harry's explosive clash with Bill Maher on real-time, asterisk, from the moment the camera started rolling. You could feel it in the air. This wasn't going to be just another interview. What began as a routine promo for Harry's latest memoir quickly spiraled into a war of words, accusations, and ultimately an unforgettable walk-off. Asterisk, but before we dive into it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and drop your thoughts. In the comments, asterisk, was Harry unfairly targeted, or did Maher finally ask what everyone else was too afraid to? Asterisk, it all began inside HBO's iconic real-time studio. Asterisk, the lights were hot. The crowd was warmed up. The cameras panned across the familiar set. Bill Maher sat comfortably at his desk, cue cards ready, and then came the announcement. Asterisk, please welcome Prince Harry. The audience erupted, half cheers, half curiosity. Entered with that signature stiff poise, equal parts polished and cautious. He smiled, waved, took his seat across from Maher. The show began cordially enough. Bill leaned in with his signature smirk. Prince Harry, you've certainly been busy since stepping back from Buckingham, huh? Asterisk, Harry smiled, practiced and pleasant. It's been a transformative journey, Bill. A real path toward authenticity and personal growth. Asterisk, Maher chuckled. Authenticity, he repeated. That's a fascinating word coming from someone whose Netflix series has more production value than most Marvel films. The audience laughed, but Harry's smile faltered just a little. Well, Bill, it's easy to mock from the outside, he replied, but everything we're doing is about purpose, creating space for conversations that matter. Asterisk, right, Bill said, flipping a card. And also, multi-million-dollar book deals, exclusive streaming content, and private security in a Montecito mansion. Asterisk, the air thickened. The laughter was lighter now. Asterisk, you make it sound like we're living in excess, Harry said, his posture shifting ever so slightly. Asterisk, are you not? Maher asked plainly. You've got private planes, palatial estates, global attention, and yet you're sitting here claiming the same struggles as the average American? The audience murmured, tension, real, sharp tension. Harry cleared his throat. We've never claimed to be ordinary, but we do have bills, children to protect, mental health to prioritize. We're not asking for sympathy, just understanding. Asterisk, Bill nodded slowly, and that understanding costs how much again? Because last I checked, your brand of vulnerability is extremely monetized. Asterisk, the crowd gave a hesitant laugh. But Harry was no longer smiling. Asterisk, you're being cynical, he said. We've used our platform to shed light on issues that are often swept under the rug. That's not exploitation. That's purpose. Asterisk, Bill leaned back. Okay, fine. Let's talk about that purpose. Speaking truth to power. That's your line. Asterisk, Harry nodded. It is. Asterisk. Interesting, Maher replied, because most people who speak truth to power weren't literally born into power. The room went quiet. I was born into an institution, Harry said, one that didn't see me as a person, but as a role. It came with expectations, silence, obedience, and public performance. Asterisk, and now you're performing a different role, Maher countered. Just with a better wardrobe and no royal duties. Asterisk, Prince Harry sat up straighter in his chair, his fingers laced, his expression colder now. Asterisk, I'm not here to defend privilege, he said carefully. I'm here to explain how systems, royal or otherwise, strip away identity. You lose who you are when you're told what to be from the day you're born. Asterisk, Maher didn't blink. And now you're being paid handsomely to rediscover that identity in camera. A ripple of awkward laughter from the audience. Harry paused, measuring his response. Do you mock everyone who talks about trauma, or just the ones with a title? Asterisk, Bill raised his eyebrows. I don't mock trauma. I mock hypocrisy. And let's be honest, Harry, when you go from royal palaces to media palaces, it starts to look like you swapped one kind of insulation for another. Asterisk, Harry's jaw tightened. I left a system that was toxic to my mental health. Asterisk, and entered one that profits from your pain, Maher added, calmly. I'm just asking, what's the difference? Asterisk, the audience was split now. Some clapped. Others winced. Asterisk, Harry leaned forward. The difference is choice, Bill. I didn't choose the royal system. I chose this. And the luxury that came with it, Maher said. I chose freedom, Harry snapped back. Asterisk, no, Bill replied. You chose branding. You turned privacy into content and pain into episodes. Asterisk, the room was a minefield of reactions, gasps, stifled laughs, uneasy shifting, asterisk. Harry shook his head. You're twisting everything. You reduce vulnerability to strategy. Honesty to PR. You don't know what it's like to live under a microscope since childhood. Asterisk, I don't, Maher agreed. But I also don't sell my trauma as a redemption arc. Asterisk, the tension now was like a vice. Asterisk, even the camera crew, seasoned as they were, had gone still. No one dared break the moment. Asterisk, Bill reached for another card. In your memoir, you describe fights with your brother, the coldness of your father, the feeling of being the spare. Do you ever feel like maybe this isn't healing? Maybe it's retribution, with a nicer font? Harry blinked. Once, twice. Then replied, you clearly don't understand therapy, or grief, or what it takes to reclaim a voice that's been silenced for decades. Asterisk, Maher nodded. I understand grief. I just don't believe every grief needs a Netflix trailer. A few audience members audibly gasped. Harry leaned forward, his voice suddenly sharper. That's low, even for you. Asterisk, Bill didn't flinch. It's honest. And that's what this show is about. I'm not here to pat you on the back for escaping a golden cage, only to build one of your own with better lighting. Asterisk, Harry's voice was calm, but steel-edged. You think this is funny. You think trauma is your punchline tonight. Asterisk, I think honesty is uncomfortable, Bill replied, especially when it disrupts a narrative built to sell. Asterisk, the silence that followed wasn't awkward. It was electric. It was the sound of an interview coming completely off the rails. Asterisk, Harry looked out into the audience faces, staring back at him, unsure whether to clap or look away. Asterisk, this, he said finally. This right here is why people stay silent, because the moment they speak, someone like you turns it into a punchline. Asterisk, Bill shook his head. No, they stay silent because silence doesn't trend. Asterisk, Prince Harry sat motionless for a moment, just breathing. Asterisk, the tension wasn't just thick, it was crushing. You could see the storm building behind his eyes. And then he spoke. You know, I came here thinking this would be a conversation, Harry said slowly. A space to actually discuss the things that matter. But this isn't a conversation. This is bait. Asterisk, Bill Maher offered a shrug. Then take the bait, or don't. But don't pretend you're above the questions. Asterisk, I'm not above anything, Harry said sharply. But I am done pretending that being vulnerable gives people like you license to mock every step of it. Asterisk, Maher folded his hands. You keep saying vulnerable, but it looks a lot like self-promotion. A royal goes to therapy, and suddenly it's a global media event. Harry stood. That was the moment. Asterisk, no big speech, no dramatic finger-pointing, just a slow, deliberate movement, mic unclipped, jacket straightened, jaw clenched. Asterisk, Maher's voice followed him like a hook. You walking away, Harry? He stopped, turned halfway. I'm walking away from a conversation that was never meant to be one. You didn't want to hear my story. You wanted to cut it up for sound bites and smug applause. Asterisk, you knew what show you were coming on, Maher replied. Asterisk, and you knew who you invited, Harry snapped. But what you forgot is this isn't your monarchy. You don't get to define truth just because you've got a desk and an audience. The crowd sat frozen. No clapping, no boos. Just a room full of people realizing they were witnessing something rare. A royal refusing to play the gammon American soil. Asterisk, asterisk, Bill tried one last swing. People will say you can't handle tough questions. Asterisk, Harry stared him down. Tough questions don't come wrapped in ego and sarcasm. They come from curiosity. You had none. Asterisk, then, as he turned to leave, he delivered the final blow. But merciless, asterisk, you don't challenge power, Bill. You just insult the people trying to escape it. Asterisk, and with that, Prince Harry walked off the set. No wave, no glance back. Just a steady exit through a stunned studio that had no idea how to process what just happened. Asterisk, Maher sat alone at his desk, flipping a cue card like it could save him. It couldn't. So what do you think? Asterisk, was Prince Harry justified in walking out? Or was Bill Maher just asking the hard questions no one else would? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more showdowns, controversies, and unscripted moments that rewrite the rules of celebrity. Asterisk, because sometimes the real story happens when someone finally says, enough.